Main towns are locked down, and search is on for shooter who killed at least 16 people and escaped. Bank of Canada holds rate steady but warns more increases are possible. Brazilian optimism with the economy falls, as does Lula's approval. In the UK, real living wage rises to £12 an hour as cost of living crisis continues.
Madonna says she's not feeling well, 7 days into celebration tour. Dream Theater announced the return of drummer Mike Portnoy. Spotify reportedly plans to pay even less in royalties to less popular artists.
Oklahoma has restored nearly 100 unhealthy streams thanks to water monitoring, regenerative agriculture. In Italy, Milan to ban cars from center by middle of 2024. Iraq unveils ancient Assyrian Lamassu statue in Nineveh province.
Armenia sees no advantage in keeping Russian military bases. Armenian PM hopes for peace deal with Azerbaijan in the coming months. France's Macron says humanitarian aid must enter into Gaza without obstacles. France to send Navy ship to support Gaza hospitals.
Jordan's Queen Rania says, no evidence of Hamas atrocities. Reportedly, Iran's Quds Force trained 500 Hamas terrorists for massacre of Israelis. German police arrest Islamists suspected of planning truck attack on pro-Israel rally.
More than 700 killed in overnight Israeli attacks, Gaza officials say. Family of Al Jazeera Gaza bureau chief killed in Israeli air raid. Biden says he has no confidence in Palestinian death count. Biden condemns retaliatory attacks by Israeli settlers against Palestinians in the West Bank.
In South Korea, more than 160 schools have no new students amid record low birth rate, and reportedly, Korea sees accelerating drop in birth rate. In Ireland, poor population forecasts making housing crisis worse, academic warns. Youths say no to sex and romance in plot lines of TV shows, movies. Yes to content focused on friendships, UCLA study finds.
India serves tax notices, worth 1 rupee lakh crore to online gaming companies. G7 announcement on Russian diamond ban, expected by end of October 2023. In Egypt, the black market chaos raises the dollar to 50 Egyptian pounds. JP Morgan says JPM Coin handles $1 billion transactions daily. Former CTO of Ripple declines help to unlock his $241 million Bitcoin wallet, has 2 guesses left. LGBTQI activists in Bulgaria win harassment lawsuit against Nationalist Party. Female detransitioner sues American Academy of Pediatrics for pushing youth gender transition. Poland violated female judges' rights by making them retire earlier than men, rules European court.
New Jersey restaurateur relinquishes last Taco Tuesday trademark in the U.S. Taco Bell wins battle to free Taco Tuesday trademark after New Jersey restaurant drops fight. Cloudflare translates photos of 100 lava lamps into random data for use in SSL encryption. Cloudflare has arranged about 100 lava lamps on one of the walls in the lobby of the Cloudflare headquarters and mounted a camera pointing at the lamps. The camera takes photos of the lamps at regular intervals and sends the images to Cloudflare servers. All digital images are really stored by computers as a series of numbers, with each pixel having its own numerical value, and so each image becomes a string of totally random numbers that the Cloudflare servers can then use as a starting point for creating secure encryption keys.
Biden says there's no going back to status quo before the war. There must be vision of 2 states. Russia, China veto U.S. push for UN action on Israel, Gaza. Nearly 1 in 4 Americans believe political violence justified to save U.S.
House elects Mike Johnson as Speaker, ending GOP chaos. House Speaker Mike Johnson played a key role in efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump is fined $10,000 over a comment he made outside court. In his New York civil fraud trial, Trump leaves New York courtroom, muttering unbelievable, after judge denies directed verdict in his favor.
3% of Americans have gotten the new COVID shot, but the CDC director remains confident. 4M Americans have gotten latest COVID shot, on par with last fall's vaccine rollout. Sepsis taking too many lives due to hospital failings, says UK Ombudsman. In Canada, Conservative leader Poilievre-backed anti-COVID-19 vaccine mandate bill fails to pass House. Pig welfare outweighs climate concerns for consumers. Brazil food sector accounts for 74% of emissions, as per a study. Consumer Reports finds more lead and cadmium in chocolate, urges change at Hershey. Over 11% of the world's billionaires have held or sought political office. Mobility behavior is associated with the orientation towards the common good. Brisk, a 22-minute walk, could offset harmful effects of sitting, study suggests.
China willing to cooperate with U.S., manage differences, says China's President Xi. Malaysia, China established Belt and Road Overseas Venture Incubator to deepen business cooperation. Australia repatriates several Chinese cultural relics, ahead of PM Albanese's visit.
Reportedly, first malaria vaccine slashes early childhood mortality. WHO approves second malaria vaccine for children. 1,000 cats rescued in China from being slaughtered and sold as pork, mutton.
Estate of Uzi Nissan says, Nissan.com is stolen. Stellantis takes $1.6 billion leap-bidder stake to revive China fortunes. Boeing says it can't make money with fixed-price contracts. Honda cancels plan for cheap electric vehicles, ending collaboration with GM. Toyota chairman says people are finally seeing the reality about EVs. The Chevrolet Blazer EV is the 2024 Motor Trend SUV of the year. Artist David Shrigley pulps 6,000 copies of the Da Vinci Code and turns them into 1984. David Fincher says his scrapped World War Z sequel was a little like The Last of Us. Ben Whishaw, Sarah Lancashire to join Keira Knightley in Netflix spy thriller Black Doves. Amazon rolls out independent cloud for Europe to address stricter privacy standards. Amazon discloses 181 M users in EU in first store transparency report.
Apple releases iOS 17.1 with AirDrop, Standby, and music features plus 7 bug fixes. Apple announces Concerts feature in Shazam for discovering local live shows. Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and Apple News Plus receiving price increases.
Scientists release geophysical evidence for an enriched molten silicate layer above Mars's core. Cold atoms link a BEC, the Bose-Einstein condensate, a superfluid, and a supersolid. U.S. Space Force's first official painting shows military spaceplane intercepting adversary satellite. A Ukrainian soldier went to Washington to explain the war. He says American politicians don't realize much of the funding actually stays in the U.S. Dell launches new 27 inches QHD 360 Hz and 32 inches 4K 240 Hz QD-OLED Alienware gaming monitors. Spirit of the North 2 announced for PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Malaysia Premier Anwar says, EU MPs threatened Malaysia as predecessor slams US on Palestine. Turkey's Erdogan, Hamas aren't terrorists, they're a liberation group, cancels trip to Israel. Blinken says he asked Qatari PM to rein in Al Jazeera's Israel-Hamas war coverage.
In the UK, online safety bill could become law on Thursday, Ofcom's boss says. Telegram has blocked Hamas channels on Android because Google forced it to. Google sued after man drives off collapsed bridge following Google Maps